In this episode of Stories from Real Life, host Melvin E. interviews Azgari Lipshy, an entrepreneur who shares her journey from starting her first business at 16 to navigating the complexities of entrepreneurship. Azgari discusses the influence of her family, the lessons learned from early failures, and her passion for helping others launch their own businesses. The conversation explores themes of freedom, success, mentorship, and the importance of taking risks in life.
I think my first check, I went from having a $4, $5 lunch money for school to having real check where, I paid for supplies, I paid for people at the factory, and this is still money left. It's my money.
So what was that first check like? How much money did you make with the very first check?
Give or take 10,000.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot. It didn't make any sense. I didn't even know what to do with it.
Pull up a chair. It's story time with our guest, Azgari Lipshy.
You are listening to Stories from Real Life, a podcast by engaging storytellers for engaged story listeners. Here's your host, author and journalist, Melvin E. Edwards.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Stories from Real Life. I'm your host, Melvin E. Edwards. Thank you for joining me for the podcast where personal stories can have a global impact. As you heard in the intro, my guest today is Azgari Lipshy. Azgari, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
So you started your first business when you were 16 years old. What was the spark that made you believe you could do that?
It's monkey see, monkey do. I've seen my father do it since I was a baby. I've seen my brother do it. So my father is a doctor, but he's a true entrepreneur at heart. All of our conversations growing up were around, so he has a pharmaceutical manufacturing business. It was always about new formulations, new R&D, things that he wants to try, things that he is trying, that sort of thing. So having that understanding that you can build something from nothing was not foreign to me.
Okay, nice. So what did your life look like then, and how did your environment shape the entrepreneurial instinct that you developed, in addition to what you just said?
So, the proverbial daddy's little girl, right? I think for most daughters, it's more doing well at school that's going to impress dad or have dad's approval. For me, it was more, the more creative I could be, the more interesting ideas I can come up with that would get him to engage and have more conversations with me and get me to think in a more expansive way. So I guess my encouragement was the more creative things I could talk about, the more time I got with my dad, because he was a very busy man, and getting his time meant I have to go to his office. I have to chase him down when he's going to the factory at 5 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday.
All right. So do you remember the first time you actually felt like a business owner rather than a kid with an idea?
I think my first check. I went from having a $4, $5 lunch money for school to having real check where, I paid for supplies, I paid for people at the factory, and this is still money left. It's my money.
So what was that first check like? How much money did you make with the very first check?
Give or take 10,000.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, it's
As
a lot.
16-year-old?
Yeah. It didn't make any sense. I didn't even know what to do with it.
I'm sure you had some friends who help describe what you could do with it.
Well, I actually just put it all back into production for the next batch.
So what was your first business?
Supplement manufacturing. So I leveraged my dad's factories and created my own line of single herb supplements, and then quickly pivoted that to energy supplements. So performance enhancement supplements.
Okay. So did you have any kind of early failures or setbacks that really hit you hard and made it sort of a challenge for you to come back from that?
So after my two relatively decent success with the supplement brand and with the garment manufacturing right after. After those two successes, I thought I was invincible. And you tend to make some pretty big mistakes when you do that. And I was not very different. I I kind of forgot everything that actually made me successful, all the steps, protocols, and I chased a passion. I was very passionate about men's mental health because I had a few close people in my life that chose to not be here. And that affected me quite, on multiple levels. So the way I dealt with that was by starting a mental health tech company. And my normal process of starting a business up until that point has always been validation, right? Does somebody want to give me money for this? Step one. If it's a yes, then I build the company or the products. But with my mental health tech company, I did not do that because it was a passion project. Huge mistake. Lots of lessons there.
What's one of the lessons?
Don't build a product that no one has told you they will give you money for.
All right, so you built and exited multiple companies across very different industries. Which one taught you the most about people?
The mental health. Everybody's very passionate about mental health, but when it comes to who's going to write the check for it, no one's in the room. It's interesting because I would go to so many massive conferences with top CEOs, and everybody's on stage talking about how passionate they are about mental health. But then, okay, do you want to offer this to your employees? Radio silence. So it tells you a lot about people and virtue signaling.
Okay. So was there ever a point when you just thought about walking away from entrepreneurship altogether?
Oh, yeah, every other day.
So what keeps you going? What keeps you going back?
It's like crack. I've never tried crack, but I'd imagine this is how it is. You're like, damn it, it's too much work. It's just too many things that, too many strings you have to pull all the time. But then it's like, you're good at it. This is who you are. What else are you going to do? Get a job?
So was there ever a moment when you realized that you could help others launch and scale their own businesses, and that teaching would be the next best chapter for you?
So it happened very organically. Like, I am always that girl at the party where, you complain about your job and I immediately go, well, why don't you do something of your own? And then most of the time, I'm always the one that would, help my friends figure out how to actually start something of their own. And it truly is something I was doing and I still do because I love doing it. And I think around 3 years ago, I started having so many people ask me for help or mentorship. I remember I had so much on my plate that month that I was like, I really want to, but I don't have 30 minutes a month to invest with a friend to help them. So I just threw a number at her. I was like, I can't, but if you're a client, of course I'll make time. She didn't balk at that number. I did the same thing with another referred client and another one. And at that point, I was like, oh, I love doing this. This could actually also be its own thing. I could actually do this in a more scalable manner where I can help, maybe 1,000 people in the next 5 years.
And how long ago was that?
3 years, give or take. So I would say this year, it's been more of an official, like, okay, we have dedicated separate teams that handle our client interactions, where in prior years it was more me just handling people that are coming to me from referrals.
Okay. So a lot of people become entrepreneurs because they want to have freedom in their work. But it often means working harder than ever. So, what does freedom look like to you now?
I do feel like I own my time because even if I am working more, it's on my own terms. If I work more, I make more money. I have more to give to the cause and people that matter to me. I'm in charge of that. I have control over that. It's a lever I can pull, right? If I want more time, I'll just work a little less, and that's fine. But you can't do that in a job. It's not like if I just work harder, I'm going to make more money. Maybe 10% raise at the end of the year. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. So I guess to me, that's freedom. Having the ability to scale up and make more if I want to, or make less if I just want more time.
Okay. Can you describe a time when everything seemed uncertain and how you found clarity or momentum after that period?
I think in your 20s when things go sideways, especially in a business, everything feels like it's the end of the world because you don't have context for what the other side looks like. But once you've gone through enough of these, then it's just like, okay, today's just going to be a bad day and that's okay. I have no clue what to do tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure I might figure it out tomorrow. So it's fine.
So, have you had any key mentors or influences who helped shape your path, and what did they teach you?
I would say my dad, and I would also say he never taught me anything. I've watched him be somebody. It's always been observing who he is, how he operates, how he thinks, how he makes decisions, and how he treats other people. I think that, I don't think at the time I recognized it as that, but, going through life, I could always pull back to thinking, oh, dad does this. Dad would have handled it this way.
What's a story of a decision that didn't make sense on paper, but turned out to be the right move in the end?
When I decided to buy into a Thai lingerie brand, it's called Sabina. I bought the sole distributor right. It's a Thai company. I bought the sole distribution right for it to Bangladesh. And the way they manufacture their clothing is very much for the Oriental Asian market, which has a very different body structure, very, very different body structure than the East Indian body structure, almost opposite. So when I bought the distribution right for it, my business partners, everybody was, "What are you doing? This is not going to fit anybody." We actually had to return 3 different shipment cycles. Then I was able to convince them to allow me to manufacture for them in Bangladesh for our market. At that point, we were profitable. But that was always my end goal, anyways, is to get them to give me the contracts for manufacturing, not necessarily distribution. So in the beginning, it just didn't make any sense to anybody. It didn't fully make sense to me either, how the hell I'm going to convince this company to give me those contracts, but it did work out.
So, you talked about simplifying and systematizing everything. So, where was there ever a chaotic period before that clarity sort of cleared itself up?
I think in the beginning, especially when you're doing things by yourself, everything is chaotic. I'm going to have to do this, this, this. There's 50 things you have to do all simultaneously at the same time, and everything needs to get done that week. So when you're a first-time entrepreneur, second-time entrepreneur, I think that's given. Chaos is going to be there, unless it's kind of like if you learn to play tennis by yourself, it'll probably take you a couple years to get the swing right and figure it out, right? As opposed to if you get a seasoned coach, they'll straighten you out right away. It's the same in business. If you do it yourself, you're going to go around in circles and feel chaotic. But if you do it with, I guess, whether if it's a consulting firm or other seasoned mentors, it'll be a lot less chaotic.
All right. So, when you started, I don't know if you knew what your vision of success would be, But what's the most surprising lesson success has taught you?
So I think what I thought success is making a lot of money, right? When I was younger, that's what you hear in movies. That's what you see in social media. It's the nice bag. It's the I have the nicest shoes, and this is the girl's version of success. But once you have all of them, you're kind of sitting there going, "Oh, okay." And you get to a point where you realize success is actually about being in a position to add value to the people and causes that actually resonate with who you are. But, you got to buy a couple bags and shoes to get there.
It's a tough lesson. It's a hard lesson to learn. Huh? So, can you recall a specific client or a student story that reminded you of why you do what you do?
Actually, I have a very recent client. He joined 3 weeks ago, and he came to one of my webinars. He loved what I had to say. He booked a call literally the next day. And he just kept saying, everything you're offering, everything you're saying, I was looking for this. I just got divorced. I have young kids. I want my daughters to remember me, and I want to build this business, and I want to leave it for them. I want my grandkids to run this. And it just that I this is I mean, I don't even know what to say, right? That's what else is there to life than that? I don't know.
So, have you ever had any other stories like that where people come into it thinking of a generational legacy?
You'd be surprised. A lot of my male clients, they want something that feels meaningful, that they can leave as a legacy to their kids. I mean, I do have clients who are building for exits in mind, but for the most part, they're wanting things that they can leave to their kids. It's nice to see that ownership pride. And these are all people who are in their 9 to 5 jobs.
Okay. All right. So, you guarantee results for your clients. Was there ever a time
I
you
do.
doubted your own guarantee?
No, because if I can't deliver, I'll give you your money back and I'll give you $3,000 on top from my pocket. That's how confident I am.
Have you ever had to return anyone's money?
Not yet.
Nice. Nice. So, how has your idea of success evolved since your teenage years when you were 16 years old and getting your first $10,000 check and buying the bags and the nice shoes?
For me, success is about being in a position where I can help the people that matter to me, and I can contribute financially, time wise, influence wise to the causes that I feel passionate about. If you can do that as a human, I think you're winning, right? If you can put yourself through the choices you make in life in a position where the people that matter to you, they can come to you for what they might need, and you're able to support.
So, do you have any personal habits or rituals that keep you grounded when things get really hectic?
I've developed this muscle of not quitting when I want to keep quitting. I've taught myself to do things when I don't want to do anything. So even if I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m., if there are things that need to get done that day, as much as I want to just sit by that couch and turn on that TV, I don't. And time again, that has always pulled me out of, whatever it is that I've had to deal with.
Have you ever had to deal with imposter syndrome at all? You seem pretty confident.
Well, I mean, now, yes, at 40, sure. But, most of your 20s and when you're a kid, you're just terrified people are going to realize that you just got lucky. You're just cute and cuddly and you got lucky.
And you just keep getting lucky year after year after year, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's hard to keep that momentum going with luck. You have to be pretty good at what you're doing and be committed to it.
Yeah. But it's hard to convince that to yourself when you're a kid.
But what do you want people to feel when they first encounter your work or your story?
I want people to be inspired. I want people to take the leap and do whatever it is that they're putting off or they see other people doing online and want to hate on it, right? That's your clue. If you hate something, if you hate what somebody else is doing, stop and pause. There might be a reason why you're doing that. It's maybe something you wish you could do. So go do it.
That seems like reasonable.
You only get one life. Go do it.
All right, so I only have a couple of questions left. So when you look back decades from now at your own legacy, what chapter of your story do you think will stand out the most?
Well, I have a selfish motive for what I do now. I help other people start their own businesses so that when I'm ready to die, I have 1,000 people at my funeral who can tell their stories about how working with me has gotten them to a different trajectory of life, whether if it's starting their first business or their third one with me.
So you're sort of sending out a save the date without a date listed on the blank line for your funeral party.
Exactly. Yes. That's the plan.
All right. So as a final question, one that I ask all of my guests, what one piece of advice would you like to leave with the listeners? And it can be on any subject, not just what we're discussing today.
You get one life. This is it. I mean, maybe there's a heaven, maybe there isn't. We don't really know for sure. So go for it. When you're ready to die, you're not going to regret that, oh, I was safe. I didn't take risk. I didn't make enough mistakes, so I'm good. Nobody says that. People regret what they didn't do. So go do whatever it is. And even if you fail, you'll still be okay. You'll end up with a lot more lessons than anything else.
End up with a lot of stories to tell and end up on podcasts like
Yeah,
this.
exactly. There you go. You can come see Melvin.
Azgari Lipshy. Azgari, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it.
No, this was fun.
Good. So please go to my website at podcastreallife.com for more information about my guest, Azgari Lipshy, and the things we discussed today, including a link to her website and how you can contact her. That's it for today's episode of Stories from Real Life. Join us again next time for another chance to learn from each other. Until then, don't forget to shine your light wherever you go.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Stories from Real Life. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Let's meet right here every Tuesday and Friday. See you then.